All right. I think we are live. Let's check and give everybody a second to just log in. Let's see. Awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back, everybody. It is Wednesday, and on Wednesdays we are live. And we are here to talk about one of my favorite things in the world, which is residential real estate. And we are talking about one of what I think is the hottest topics in real estate right now. I'm hearing about it. I'm getting asked about it. Interest rates. Oh my gosh, interest rates. So the reason I want to talk about interest rates today is because we've been hearing a lot of people saying they're holding off right now for fear. Fear of a few things: interest rates, home values, the market itself. It's just too heavy of a market. It's too much of a seller's market. And there's no way it's going to happen. So I'm just going to hold off. We've heard that a lot. And what I wanted to do today is address interest rates. I'm not a lender, so I can't tell you what the interest rates are at this very, very second. I cannot advise you on what to do financially with your mortgage, but I do want to let you know the information that we've been provided by lenders, by Freddie Mac, by Fannie Mae, and by pulling this information and making sure that we have data that can help you make educated decisions. And so today, I want to look at the history of interest rates, because some of you may have seen my post. I posted on my personal page. I also posted in the RHT Buyer Academy. And I said Academy, not network. I'm still working on that. But most people, most home buyers and most people in our country are under the assumption that the average 30-year fixed interest rate is 5.5, which is not accurate. So let's take a look. I pulled a chart right here, but it cut off the side here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and I'm going to show you what I pulled here. Let's see. Got my 30-year fixed here. Okay, perfect. Sorry. Where's share screen? There it is. Okay. Share. Awesome. Okay, guys. This is our averages since 1971. I want you to take a look at this, because we did see right here, over the last couple of years, some very, very, very low interest rates. I'm not going to argue with people that say interest rates were super low. They were. They absolutely were. But historically, over the last 50 years, interest rates have been much higher. We did see some other dips here in 2013. But historically, where we are in this moment is nothing higher than average. Right now, what we're looking at as an average since 1971 is 7.75%. That's not bad at all, guys. I don't know that song, so I'm skipping it. Sorry, it was weird. I hope y'all can hear the music. I have a new microphone, and I think it's working a lot better. I tested it, and I just think it's better all around. So why am I wanting to address the interest rates? Well, a lot of people have said, I'm going to wait for interest rates to drop. And unfortunately, I do not have a crystal ball, as much as I wish I did. And oh man, do I wish I had a crystal ball so I could tell the future. I don't. Lenders don't. Nobody knows what the future holds. We can make assumptions and predictions based on the market's history and what we're seeing in the market right now. But we are not fortune tellers. And I couldn't tell you that in 6 months, the interest rates are going to drop down below 4% again. I could never say that, because I don't know what's going to happen. So let's talk about it, because it's holding a lot of people back from making that next move. And if anything, we're at an average interest rate right now. But for some people, that makes a huge difference, because yes, home value has gone up. So I completely understand. Megan, of course, interest rates were higher in the 80s and the 70s. You could buy a home for practically nothing. I am not arguing affordability. I get it. Affordability is tough, but there are a couple ways to navigate that affordability so that you can lower that payment. So what I want to talk also about today is approaching the interest rates with your lender and having discussions with them that explain the importance of bringing that down, because a lot of people throw their hands up and say, I can't afford to buy a house right now. It's just too expensive. Well, what is I can't afford to buy a house right now? Do we not have our down payment and closing cost? Do we not think that our income is where it needs to be for us to afford a monthly payment? Is it the sales price of the home scaring us? What is the number, or what is the motivation behind the I cannot afford? So let's talk about it, because there are ways to approach zoom in way too much. Let's talk about lowering your interest rate, because there are ways that you can approach this to bring you a little bit of relief, because of course, refinancing is always an option. That's great. But if you're purchasing the home, you can't refinance a mortgage you don't already have. So let's talk about rate buy downs. These are extremely popular right now. And I want to tell you guys about a scenario that I was presented by a lender on a conversation, a Zoom call I had on Monday. A lot of people are asking for seller concessions. We've talked about it. Seller concessions are back, which is amazing. But what are we using those for? Repairs, lower the sales price, pay for our closing costs. We've talked about it. Rate buy downs. And the scenario that they ran was on a $400,000 house in DFW. And on that $400,000 house in this scenario, they asked for 2% from the seller. And they took 2% from Mr. and Mrs. Seller, and they brought down the sales price on the home. So you've lowered that 2%. And with that 2%, it made a $40 difference in their mortgage payment month to month. They ran that exact same scenario on a $400,000 home, 2% from the sellers, and they took that 2% and they put it towards a rate buy down. That saved them $400 every single month. So if the interest rates are scaring you and you're saying, I can't afford a 6 to 7% interest rate, it's not going to happen, Megan. I cannot do it. Let's talk about a buy down. Maybe you've got closing costs and down payment set aside, and you can afford to bump that extra 2% up yourself and say, you know what? I do have an extra 2%. I'll put down my down payment. I'll put 2% towards my buy down and buy myself a little relief for the next few years. Let's say you do a 2-1 buy down, buy your rate down for the next year, goes up a little bit more back to that initial average rate that you have on your loan. Maybe by the time that time frame comes, you can refinance and the rates have lowered. Maybe not. Maybe there's another plan that is better for you at the time. But there are options that could help give you relief. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied. In those first few years to allow a little more affordability, because I will not argue affordability with anybody. Affordability is an issue. I'm not going to say with most home buyers, with all that I've talked to, for everybody that is holding off on entering the market right now, affordability is the conversation. And for, I'd say about 60% of those people, the conversation comes back to interest rates. And what I have to say to that is, let's talk about a rate buy down. Let's connect you with a local lender and let's tell them that, look, they want to buy a house. They're tired of renting. The rent is going to go up next year. We need to get them into a house and start building equity so they can level up and go to the next bigger and better home. But we got to get into that first home first. Okay. I think I have exhausted my points for today. I hope you guys have learned something today. I hope that I brought you some valuable information. I'm going to lower this music. This is supposed to be a rock mix. This does not sound like rock. I'm going to check for questions before I leave. But I wanted to talk about it because interest rates seem to be dominating the conversation so much lately. And I wanted to make sure that you know that there are options out there. Not every option works for every single person, but if you don't know the option, and the choices that are out there for you in the mortgage industry, or know that there are options at all to be able to make that connection, then you could be stuck renting forever. And 2 years from now, your rent has gone up a few $100s a month. And what you would have saved in doing a rate buy down, you're now paying extra in rent because rental rates are going up just as fast, if not faster than home buyer rates. All right, guys, that's everything that I have. We will see you back on Friday for our new construction live in our RHT with Keller Williams page. And this week it will be moi. So you will be joined by me this week. We're going to go out and tour some new construction. I am really hoping they let us do a live in the home. Some builders will, some builders won't. I'm really working to find us some really good builders that are offering some really good incentives for our first time buyers, because those are the buyers I will work with all buyers, of course, but those are the buyers that have my heart, because I understand that. And I want from everybody more than anything to be a homeowner and stop renting. and stop giving away your equity, which is ironic because my goal is to eventually be a landlord, but I want everybody to own a home. So if you have questions about today's video, if you have suggestions for what you want to hear about next, please let us know, but we will see you back on Friday. If you have questions, you can email us. Oh, I forgot to put our email address. It's info@reynoldshometeam.com. You can send us a message to the RHT Buyer Academy, or send a message to one of our teammates directly. We hope you have a great week. Bye.